Hi, boys and girls.
We're at our garage. Let's open the door and see what we're wheeling out in this episode. Looks like the 2019 Toyota Corolla Hatchback with a very nice blue paint job. As I recall, the last time the Corolla had a total makeover was back around 2013. Shut up, bird. I'm trying to talk. They follow me everywhere, these birds. And for 2019, the hatchbacks get a totally new platform, which will be carried over to the sedans in 2020. So they say. So apparently this is all brand new. Since we have the hatchback version, obviously. Back in the old days, the automatic transmissions in a Corolla was a real transmission. As of late, they're installing those CVT transmissions, they're called rubber band transmissions, which I don't care for. So after several years of begging Toyota, I finally got what I was looking for. That's an honest-to-goodness manual transmission. 6 speeds and all. No CVT. This is going to be fun. Aside from the hybrid, which is another video, there are 2 engine choices in the Corolla. A 139 horsepower on the base unit with a CVT automatic, getting 30 to 38 mpg, or 33 miles per gallon overall. The second choice is what you see here, 169 horsepower, often with a CVT automatic, rated 31 city, 38 highway, 34 miles per gallon overall. If you take this 169 horsepower engine with the manual transmission we just showed you, mileage drops to 29 in the city, 36 on the highway with an overall average of 32, according to the EPA, but naturally how you drive will make a difference. We'll be racking up a lot of miles, real world fuel economy, to see if the manual transmission actually uses more fuel than the automatic. Could be. We'll find out. I've often given the Toyota Corolla a positive review, and it makes people think I'm working for Toyota and doing advertising shill for them. Not true, and just to demonstrate that, I'm going to show you some things I do not like about this car right off the bat to get it out of the way. Item number 1, the tilt steering wheel. A lot of movement going down, no movement going up. If you're a short person, you'll fit right in, but if you're tall, you just can't raise the wheel more than you would like. Not a deal killer, just rather annoying, especially on an all-new design where they could have changed everything for the better. Number 2 on the list, electronic parking brakes. I cannot stand these things. I don't know who invented them. Give me a manual parking brake, please, especially on a car with a manual transmission. If I'm parking on a slope, I don't want it rolling downhill. I want to make sure the brake is on manually. I don't want to depend on this gadget here. It's a pain in the butt. But it's here. You have to live with it. Number 3, if you watch my videos, we complain about stuff like this often. The rocker panels under the door. Bodywork under the door. Way too wide. Every time you step out, your pant legs are rubbing on this. You're getting dirt, sand, mud, whatever's stuck here on your pants. Especially since all of this stays outside. It gets on you when you're going inside. There's no reason for this to be here. And it's just hollow plastic anyway. People think, yeah, it'll protect me in a crash if someone side swipes me. No, it won't. No reason for this to be here. And last but not least, the gauge cluster and dash designs. Very nice. Lots of useful information in the middle here. But you might have noticed I'm watching this in the shade. Problem is, you get out in the sun, and as you can see, all this glare, and it gets worse at certain angles in the early morning and afternoon. Can you read what's on here? I can't. This will change with the angle of the sun, of course. But it's very, very annoying. Okay, 4 things I don't like about the Corolla Lots of things I do like. The controls on the steering wheel, very easy to use, large enough if you're wearing gloves. Same over here. The info screen, easy to use, large enough. The climate control are easy to use, 2 simple knobs and a few buttons on the line here. Climate controlled seats, push of a button. We get a decent sized glove box, only because I took the thick owner's manual out and jammed it in the rear hatch somewhere. The government bureaucrats and their infinite stupidity list this as a 5-passenger. Figuring we're going to get 3 people in the second row seating. In these size cars, you never do. But room for 2. And the quality of materials and workmanship, very good. It's not a Lexus, but in this price class, not an issue. Decent shut up, bird. As I was saying, decent room in the back. Even more if you fold the seats down. And yes, there is actually a spare tire underneath the panel here, in case you get a flat. And speaking of price, these start just under $20,000 for the base vehicle with the less performance engine. This was the upgraded XSE. Here's a list of goodies you get. I notice it says 168 horsepower instead of 169. It was on the website not too long ago. Well, take your pick, 168, 169 horsepower. Here's the base price and the options they tacked on. And the total fee, more than reasonable. Even the order taker at McDonald's could afford this, so I'm sure you can too. These are supposed to be performance-oriented LED headlights, so we're going to take them out in the dark and just see what they do, as we do in all my videos, and we'll just get to that right now. It's dark enough, we'll take these lights out and see what they do. Look pretty bright to me. Here we have the low beams on a building 100 feet away. Very bright, a bit low to the ground. Go to high beam. Far better. Good widespread. I just noticed these headlights swivel with the steering wheel. Turn the steering wheel left, the headlights go left. Steering wheel right, the lights go right. Pleasant surprise. Great for taking corners. What I don't understand is why swivel LEDs are standard on a $25,000 Toyota, but $1,100 extra on a Lexus. Think about that for a minute. Here we have the brights on the building 300 feet away. Good and bright, widespread. Lights up the cat pretty good. Go low beam, cuts off about 220 feet. More than adequate for city driving anyway. Overall, pretty decent lights. Okay, now we've covered the show and tell segment, looked at the headlights. Now we're going out and do some driving and get some fuel economy numbers too. Let's start with the power steering, which I find to be way too light and over-assisted for me, but considering this vehicle is going to be driven mainly by soccer moms and people just going to work, I don't think they'll complain too much. At least the steering's responsive enough when taking corners, and I guess that's what really counts. Number 2, ride quality and suspension performance. On the street, this is a pretty smooth riding car, but we're going to take this on some speed bumps, as we do in all my videos, around 20 to 25 miles per hour. Evaluate the suspension performance on impact. Here comes bump number 1. Some nasty thumping noises from the tires, but didn't feel too much. Number 2. Again, more noise than felt. Number 3. Here comes the big nasty one. Hang on. Sounds worse than it is. And as usual, our security guards, they're sleeping and daydreaming, so he doesn't care what we're doing. The handling of this vehicle is excellent. Rides very low to the ground, good weight distribution. Really hugs the road, doesn't spin out. We're upsetting our other security guard over there. She only gets $8 an hour. I don't think she really cares. I was going to call Toyota and see if this 2-liter engine puts out the 168 or 169 horsepower, but who really cares? This 2-liter is quick enough, especially when you're rolling through the gears in this manual transmission. I don't think you can get acceleration like that with the CVT automatic transmission. This car is pretty brisk. Nice brakes too. As a rule, I prefer an automatic transmission over a manual. The modern gearboxes today just outperform the manuals as a rule, but the CVT automatics, no. In that case, give me a manual transmission instead. I'm very happy that the Corolla has that as a choice. If you're thinking about buying a Corolla with the intent of racking up around 300,000 trouble-free miles on it, as many of them do, you have a better chance of doing so with this manual gearbox than the CVT automatic. Another reason to get it. I've been driving this several days in heavy city traffic, running it pretty hard. 27.2, I think that's the worst we're going to see. Coming up, we're going to have some fuel economy test on the highway. See if we can squeeze it up to the 40 miles per gallon mark, so don't go away. It's coming up right now. I've been getting around 31 in mixed commuting and 35 on the freeway, but we're going to do an official on-video highway test. Running on the expressway around 65 to 70 miles per hour. So let's give it a go. If you're driving on the expressway a lot, this is a pretty good choice for a vehicle. Pretty smooth and quiet aside from the tires that do a lot of thumping, but you'll get used to that. Not a big deal. As I stated earlier, if you're going to get on the highway at 75 miles per hour, expect 35 to 36 miles to the gallon. With the slower 65 mile per hour speed limit dropping to 55, I suspect we're going to do about as good as the automatic transmission version of this car. We're going to pull over pretty soon and find out. I'd say 38.5 is reasonable. About the same as claimed for the automatic version of this car. Oops, 38.4. We're not driving, we're sitting. So after a week of driving, what's my take on this new Toyota Corolla? Well, I certainly can't complain about the fuel economy. 27 to 38 miles to the gallon. Pretty close to what the EPA estimates. The quality is excellent and it drives nice too. As far as buying one of these, as well as any small car, here's the bottom line, okay? If you're going to buy a small car and keep it 3 or 4 years, trade it in, really doesn't matter what you buy. Japanese, Korean, American. On the other hand, if you're buying a compact car, want to keep it for the long term, like 10, 15 years, until the wheels fall off, the Toyota Corolla and Honda Civic are the only two choices that can do that. Both available with the manual transmission if you want it. And I haven't driven the small Civic as of late, so for right now, this is my top choice. Yeah, it does cost a bit more than the Korean and American competition, but come on, 25 grand. Anyone can afford that. So if you're looking for a small car for the long-term use, this should be on your list. Coming up, some video links of other vehicles we've tested recently you might be interested in. Just click and watch.